Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let's see. Helen Marmon, thank you so much for being here first. And let's see. Joyce Anderson, thank you so much for being here. And let's see. What else is there? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's weird, but okay, I got it working now. There we go. That's more like it. That's not like it. Oh, this thing is always a surprise, ain't it? Okay. All right. I got it. No, I don't got it. Okay. Oh, why is this thing doing this today? I'm so sorry. Um, Let me try that again. Oh, by the way, did you guys see the opening of the Olympics? That looked phenomenal. That looked phenomenal. Too bad they got rain though. But there was some parts of it, I tell you. I declare it was quite the sight. Joyce Anderson, Mary H., Kim Peaches, Emerald Derrick, Helen Marmon again, Mary H., Carol Lunn, Juliet Holder Fowler, and it's Mary H. birthday. All right. Happy birthday, Mary H. And thank you for being like usually the first or second one here. You and Fancy Fancy. Always appreciate that. Uh Now, if only I could cue it up. Okay. I cannot get this thing to work today. What am I not doing? Let me try this. Okay, let me try it. Come on. Lord have mercy. It's not queuing. I wanted to play the thing for you and it's not queuing. Darn it. Okay, we'll try it again later. Oh, I don't know why it's there, but here we go. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Nelly's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. All right. Happy birthday, Mary H. And many happy returns of the day. Hello. Many hello. Hello, Mary H. Happy birthday. And thank you, Lydia Washington, for the super chat. Okay. Glad that worked. Don't know why I didn't the first time. They changed something with the StreamYard. Maybe I should try to update it. Maybe I'm on the wrong program. Maybe I should try to update. All right. And they say change is good. Prince Harry says late Queen Elizabeth is up there saying, see this through to the end amid his legal battle. We had many conversations before she passed. This is very much something she supported. She knew how much it meant to me. The Duke of Sussex said during the Tabloids on Trial documentary. Okay, well, I don't think Harry has it in him to lie. Um, let's see here. Prince Harry has always had a strong bond with his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth. During a new interview for ITV documentary Tabloids on Trial, which premiered on Thursday, July 25th, Harry spoke to Rebecca Berry about winning his phone hacking lawsuit against Mirror Group newspapers in December of 2023. Among the other legal battles he has undertaken, the Duke of Sussex mentioned that he had multiple conversations about going up against the tabloids with his late grandmother before her death in September of 22. We had many conversations before she passed. This is very much something she supported. She knew how much this meant to me, Harry said in the documentary. She's up there going, see this through to the end. Without question, he added. King Charles' son only recently been involved in 4 lawsuits against newspaper publishers in the UK over over allegations of phone hacking and other, what do you call it? Where did I leave off? Of phone hacking and other stuff. Anyway, you know the story. And today is a great day for truth as well as accountability, Prince Harry said. Now, Black Queen says, so Willie stepped down as FA Prez. I guess he realized that even if he does zero, he will still get a fat check. Sad. Good night. Or more like good morning. Thank you so much for that, Black Queen. But yes, Willie did step down. And you know what? I thought I know I saved something for that, and I don't think I ever put it up. Yesterday, I think I did. But yes, it's true. Willie Leak stepped down. There will be no consequences. You know, maybe, I don't know. Do you think maybe it's because people were making fun of him for his over exuberant expression of excitement watching the men play, whereas otherwise he could not even be bothered for the girls when they were playing. He just could not be bothered. But for the boys, he was like, let's hear it for the boys. Let's give the boys a hand. Wait, that sounds weird. Um, I'm sure he would love to give them a hand. Um, or knowing him, knowing him, he would likely be just as interested in a pulled pork sandwich. Yep, pulled pork sandwich for everyone. It's on Willie. No, he insists it's on Willie. Um, but yeah, so one should not be surprised that he had enough courage to take on less duty rather than more, because either way, he gets away with it. Okay. Oh, ooh, you know what? I'm going to share those. I'm going to share those so you can see what I'm talking about here. He did get a wee bit excited, didn't he? Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Do that. Okay. Yep. It's right here. It's right here. Okay. So I got that one. And Wait. uh okay, I'll put all those up. Hopefully they'll come up. So there he is. There he is getting all emotional and excited, thinking about those big sweaty menses. uh there he is getting all um what do you call it? Exuberant. Okay, one more. One more for the Willie leaks. There he is. Look at there. Have you ever seen anybody so animated watching men play football? I don't know if I ever have. I don't know if I ever have. Isn't that his cousin back there, Kato or whatever? No, that's not. Anyway, the guy back there with the navy and red and white tie, isn't that his cousin? I don't know. He looks familiar. Anyway, that's Willie Leaks getting all excited. Keep acting like that. He's going to be banned from the locker room again. Again. Anyway, I shouldn't make fun of him. He's the future king. Thank you again. And oh, let me take this away. Great. All right. So, and we can't forget this right here. The queen looking adoringly, that is, at her favorite at her favorite grandson. Okay. And then, of course, Prince Harry says struggle with UK tabloids, deepened family rift. We discussed that yesterday in a TV interview airing on Thursday, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that yesterday. And, you know, the tabloids, the ones that he's suing, they don't want to have a conversation about this. However, like the Jeremy Vines and even GBN, although I couldn't stomach listening to it for long. And I do advise you, for the sake of your mental health, avoid GBN. The guy was saying, and this was just me satisfying my curiosity, wondering how they were going to talk about it. And I don't know who this guy was that they had on the show, and he started with the whole thing about security. How could Harry say that he's worried about bringing Meghan over here, or he'll never bring Meghan, when Donald Trump was just wounded or whatever he said? And it's like, um, are we trying to conflate one thing for the other? Are we using these semantical arguments, which they are so good for? Um, I don't know about you all, but I think I just saw a British cop kick some guy in the face and then tried to stomp on his head. And the only thing that stopped him was that his mother was on the floor trying to protect him. You see, there's always that reputation of the United States and police brutality, all of which is very true. I mean, there are plenty great police officers out there. But the thing is, it's hard to get rid of the rotten apples. It is very difficult. And I think that the Met Police have that in common. I'm sure most police forces have that in common, where you just can't get rid of those rotten apples. But how much anger? I mean, I don't care what happened before that. If you are kicking someone that is on the ground in the face, and then you're trying to stomp on their head, you're trying to kill that person. And this officer was very satisfied to do that in front of however many people. It was disgusting. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm telling you, it's quite brutal. And I'm like, gosh, that cop would fit right in the US. he he'd do just fine in the U.S. You know, I look at some of the old film clips and stuff like that, and I thought the Met Police were rather polite. I didn't know that they had that kind of stuff in them, but this cop, and they said that he was not fired, that he just had some time off from work. They just took him off duty. Hi, Vanessa Jones. Thank you for being here. So, I mean, if that's the way it's going to go, but I saw that and I was just like, what in the world is going on? What is that, the United States? I didn't know the British cops could do stuff like that. Didn't know they had it in them. But this cop was, as far as I can see, trying to take this kid out. It was very brutal. Oh, okay. Yep. I'll show you. Well, I'm not going to show you like the worst of it, but let me see what slide is that. That's number 8. Right here. Right here. Look at the photo on the left. I mean, he has literally kicked him in the head, and then after that, he immediately tried to stomp on him. This kid is laying face down on the floor. If you can't tell, he's face down. And this cop was not by himself. And his mother did everything she could to try to protect him. Probably saved his life. And they said that he has a brain injury now. Yeah, blinded him. He could have killed him. He literally could have killed him. It was awful. But because of the great deal of attention that I have paid to the affairs of the UK, I have learned that police brutality, the big difference is most of the police officers there do not carry firearms. And so I'm pretty sure that is the only reason why there aren't more situations like we have here in the US. But and of course the poor young lady down in Springfield, Illinois, um I tell you, it seems as though they train them to be sociopaths, right? Gosh, God help us. All right. So, now I have this little clip to play for you. Well, just a sound bite. And I will get that going. And this lady, you know what? I snapped her image 3, 4 times and I can never seem to catch her with her eyes open. I just noticed that I could never really catch her with her eyes open. Love the suit though. That is very Chanel. She's doing Chanel this season. I'm living for it. You go, girl. At least I think it's Chanel. Oh no. Okay. I'll play it twice.
Publish where they got their information from. It's more a question of the relationship between a father and his son breaking down, and the fact that we have now heard that Harry was told that unless he withdrew these allegations that he made, and he named an official, unless he withdrew that allegation, his allowance would be stopped. And when he said he wasn't going to withdraw the allegation, he wanted to pursue the case against the Sun newspaper, his allowance was stopped. So I think we've seen essentially where this very, very serious rift in the royal family got to the point of a leak, or who leaked what to whom, whether the Sun were right to publish, where they got their information from. It's more a question of the relationship between a father and his son breaking down, and the fact that we have now heard that Harry was told that unless he withdrew these allegations that he made, and he named an official, unless he withdrew that allegation, his allowance would be stopped. And when he said he wasn't going to withdraw the allegation, he wanted to pursue the case against the Sun newspaper, his allowance was stopped. So I think we've seen essentially where this very, very serious rift in the royal family got to the point.
So, just in case you don't recall, it was because of the leaking that Harry lost his allowance. And also, we know that it was because of the leaking and the briefing that he was threatened that if he did not give it up, that he was going to pay dearly. Now, let me find this person for you. Christian Jones. I'm sure you all remember Christian Jones. It was this one right here. Oh, you know what? Can I do all three of those? Let me see if I can. Christian Jones, his name hasn't been mentioned much lately, but this article right here, what a hottie. Meghan Markle's hunky new press secretary sets pulses racing as female fans urge Harry to be careful. I can guarantee you that Harry did not like that. That was an awful thing for, essentially newlyweds. This was a luncheon that Meghan had arranged in an attempt to, I suppose, distance Christian Jones, who was, hired and just given to her. She had nothing, I'm sure, to do with hiring him. And if she did, I'm pretty sure she didn't realize exactly where he came from. But he's in a bit of a circle with a lot of ambitious young men trying to claw their way up to the top in the British government and the royal household. So Christian Jones, who is he married? I believe he's married. I think he's married. And he's married to a guy. So I'm supposing that whatever they were insinuating, it didn't really make much of a difference. And yet they knew that, and the paper didn't say anything about his sexual preference or marital status. They only wanted to try to embarrass the Sussexes. And this is a paparazzi photo. I thought that the tabloids did not use paparazzi photos for the senior royals, which Meghan, of course, is one. But yet this happened. They ran it in the paper. This is the Sun, by the way, with the headline. And it is also said that Christian Jones is the one who is responsible for the whole thing about where is that at? If you recall, Dan Wooten gave Harry and Meghan 10 days to tell the public that they were stepping back. They were in negotiation, and it is alleged that Christian Jones is the one who leaked the information. Just like Christian Jones could have possibly have been the one who leaked the idea that they were going to lunch. Now, Meghan, who is already pregnant at this point, if I had to guess, I don't know, I wasn't there, but if I had to guess, Meghan was trying to have a luncheon with him away from Kensington Palace so that she would be able to speak freely about some of the ideas that she had or some of the goals that she had as far as her platform, as far as her royal duties and such. Well, he was never on her side from the very beginning. He was never on her side, not at all. Between himself and, of course, Jason Knopf, and let me see, who else was it? And Simon Case, all of them seemed to be working against Harry and Meghan. all, they and this is the thing. They will say that this is Harry and Meghan's or Meghan's press secretary or personal assistant or royal aide. However, all of the people that they said was working for the Sussexes seem to also later on in the same article there it mentions that they work for William and Kate. Now, when Harry and Meghan were part of the Kensington household, there can only be one boss. There can only be one boss. And William was no longer in a cooperative mood with Harry because Harry decided, I will marry this woman, because Harry decided, I'm not going to wait, because Harry said, I won't shave my beard. William got increasingly impatient and angry and combative, jealous. And of course, all of those people I just mentioned, even though it was supposed to be a joint household between the two brothers, essentially William was the last word. And William and his horrible temperament could never be trusted to make just and sound decisions. He's petty and vindictive, and he wanted nothing better but to tell Harry what to do because he was jealous, extremely jealous. I mean, right there, you can see his choice as a marital partner is starting to, shall we say, wither on the vine. Poor thing has been married to her, and it has done nothing but drain the life out of her. Whatever personality she had vanished years ago. Harry, excited, content, looking forward to the future. He has a partner who, together, they're going to do all these wonderful things for the Commonwealth. William wasn't going to let that happen. And so, conspiring with those other people at Kensington Palace, he put a stop to that immediately. There was never going to be cooperation. There was never going to be a day when Harry was in any way, form, or fashion going to be allowed to shine away from the rest of them or outshine the rest of them. And of course, Meghan, that went double. That's just not going to happen. Everybody knows this, but they would never be honest enough to admit it. You even hear the royal reporters. What gets me is that you will hear the royal reporters, the royal rota, they will say that you can't outshine the principals, right? Meaning that you can't outshine Charles, you can't outshine William. It's just not allowed. They will say that, but then at the same time, they will also throw in there all these things that Harry and Meghan got wrong, did wrong. Meghan didn't understand the way we are. And, you know, if you know why they have been working against them, and you will admit that it's not a good look for them to shine so much, how do you get to say, almost in the same breath, that essentially William and Kate were jealous and afraid of being outshined? And in that same breath, you try to establish all of these things that Harry and Meghan got wrong and these bad impressions that they made. Everything changed after the Oceania tour. When they came back from Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Fiji, and all that, everything had changed. It was Operation Destroy 'em, which is the same thing that happened to Diana. So the story goes on and on. Prince Harry opened up his rift with the royal family, revealing much of the tension was caused by his legal fight with the British tabloid press. Yes, and then there's that. So you got the problem with the Sussexes being the most popular, And then, of course, Harry going against the press. Harry not. As a matter of fact, I need to show you this one too. Just to show you what, and by the way, these are the dots that um, Byline connected about Christian Jones. You see, they claimed, well, at least it was claimed, that Christian Jones didn't even know Dan Wooten to leak any information to him. But there's Christian Jones on the left with his partner's arm around him. And there's Dan Wooten on the right in the plaid shirt, looking like the lumberjack maniac. Well, anyway, that's, I'm trying not to avoid saying certain words. But if for someone you don't know, how do you both end up at the same party? He's at your party, this extravagant 40th birthday party. That's Christian Jones. That's Dan Wooten. And a lot of the problems with Harry right now is because he went against the press. They told him to drop this. Harry did not want to drop his complaint about the leaks allegedly coming from Christian Jones. But I say to myself, what kind of person chooses? And okay, I have to say this. Even if Harry was the worst person in the world, even if Meghan was the worst person in the world, right? Let's just say that they have fooled us all this time and they're not what they appear to be. I don't care because Christian Jones is the help. He is the help. Harry is your family. Now Meghan is your family. Christian Jones is the help. But then not everybody has help that has those big soft eyes and a full head of hair and that dark beard and everything. Not everybody has. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the pulled pork sandwich was good. Maybe the pulled pork sandwich is good. Maybe that explains why this person who looks like Christian Jones was in the second vehicle when William supposedly went to the hospital to see Kate one time. Now, the image is very grainy, not very good, but I'm telling you, look at the ear, look at the way the ear points, look at the beard. If you ask me, that's Christian Jones. I'm just saying, I think his nose kind of favors to the right. I think that's Christian Jones. Very close, aren't they? Extremely close, alarmingly close. Christian Jones. You see, William keeps a certain type of people around him at all time. That's how he ended up in that restaurant in Poland. Of all places, he ends up in that bistro. Serendipity? I don't think so. It's all part of a trend. Mary H, thank you so much for the super sticker. And once again, happy birthday. And a very big, let me see. And a very big, wait, get out of here, man. And a very big hello, hello to you. Okay, got that out of my system. But yeah, so it just, let me see. I heard William fired Camilla's sister. I don't think she was fired. Camilla's sister worked for Charles. Charles if anything, Charles will find her sister didn't do anything. Her sister was supposed to decorate interiors. That is not a around the clock job, decorating interiors. It is not. Charles has supported Camilla's entire family um, for years. That includes Camilla's ex husband. So I don't think that she was fired. I don't think she was doing anything to begin with. William has a staff of 62. Charles had a staff of over 100 as the Prince of Wales. Um, so I just don't think she was needed. And who knows when was the last time she actually had work to do. I don't see her as a full-time position. So I am going to say I don't think she was fired. I don't think she ever oh, they took her off the payroll. Well, she wasn't even working. I promise you she wasn't even working. Payroll and no payroll, she was not working. Charles was just giving her money. Charles was just giving her money, just like Charles has an allowance for Camilla's kids, I'm sure. That family has been set ever since Camilla's first husband allowed um, Camilla to go along her way. As they say, a real British man, a true British man, will lay down his wife for the king. uh, yeah. I mean, but that was her job title, decorator, right? She did interior design. You know who else is an interior decorator? Princess Michael of Kent. She's also an interior decorator. Put back on Charles' payroll. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of things. Like when Charles became king, there were people that worked for the queen that just were not going to carry over into that household with him. They became redundant and they let him go. But in Camilla's sister's case, she wasn't doing anything anyhow. Oh, look at that rat. Look at that rat. This is Richard Eden. Richard Eden, who I compared to a rodent, a little rodent, a little beady eyed rodent. And by the way, thank you to the squatty who matched up these images. So, Kate Beckinsale calls on tabloids to remove entire false article about personal life. Um, well, let me see. I know you won't be able to see that. I can't see it either. Let me see what I can do here. Wait, what did I do? Okay. All right. Oh, that's better. So, Kate Beckinsale calls on tabloid journalists to remove entire false article about her life. Um, Editor at the Daily Mail, let me see, it says on Wednesday. What is the actual date of this article? Anyway, um, published a story with the headline Kate Beckinsale's opens up about the difficult time she's going through with her mother's cancer. However, Kate took to Instagram on Thursday to post a lengthy statement in which she claimed she had never met or spoken to the journalist Richard Eden. That never stops him, does it, though? Uh, I do not know him and certainly would not speak to the Daily Mail or any other tabloid about something so personal. What is not even mine to share? She said Richard Eaton was not at this event despite implying he was and had a conversation with me. The Serendipity star then claimed she was ambushed on the red carpet of a charity event by someone who started asking personal questions. Kate went on to criticize editors at the outlet for having an obsession with keeping an image of me as sick and suffering, even though she has recovered from the illness that she experienced earlier this year. The Daily Mail had have been contacted by my representatives asking to remove this article, which is entirely false, with a false headline, or somehow makes my mother responsible for a health issue that struck me 4 days after the funeral of my father. The actress continues, they have refused multiple times. This is irresponsible and cruel and caused the stress of which they have been repeatedly made aware. It is time to stop using real people's cancers and bereavements. Why does that strike me as ironic? As some sort of sideways opportunity to body shame women. Representatives at the publication have not yet responded to the Serendipity Stars post. Kate regularly shares updates about her personal life on social media. In May, the 51-year-old revealed she had spent 6 weeks in hospital. I'm just kidding. It's in the hospital. That's an American magazine. Um, Beginning in March, after experiencing a Mallory Weiss tear that ripped a hole between her esophagus and stomach, and a severe flare of mast cell action syndrome, whatever that is. In addition, Kate noted that she had been battling stress, shock, and grief following the death of her stepfather, Roy Battersby, in January, and her soulmate, Kat, last year. So, gives you an idea of what Richard Eaton is capable of. She says she doesn't know him, she never met him, and there's no way that she would talk about personal stuff to a tabloid. It just ain't going to happen. It has not happened. It ain't going to happen. So there you have it, Richard Eden. Kate Beckinsale opens up about the difficult time she's going through with her mother's cancer. An image of a sick and suffering. When I have been transparent about an illness that occurred in March, it is now August and I am fully recovered. Richard Eden was not at the event, despite implying that he was and had a conversation with me. In actual fact, I was ambushed, she said. Let me see. Daily Mail has been contacted by my okay, let's go to the bottom here. Given that 81% of women in the UK fear for their physical safety, how do you feel? How do you feel you are contributing by attacking and lying and ambushing women deliberately to bully them and create false narratives? You could have asked anything about the charities involved, but instead you chose to drag my mother's health in an attempt to pretend you had a conversation with me so that you could continue an unwanted narrative about my body. Disgusting. Just stop and never use my mother in this way again. You know, yesterday, one of the squatties on the Twitter was in one of the spaces, and she, was very adamant about the fact that most people in the UK have a favorable opinion about the Sussexes, that it is a minority of people that the tabloids refer to And of course, there is the derangers and the usual MAGA mamas and the Brexit people that chime in on all of these things, even though they could really care less. Um, I never felt like Britain, by and large, is a country of hate. There is a very right wing element there, just as we have a right wing element here. And unfortunately, um, those people that have hate in their heart, they are usually the loudest and the most vocal, and um, they insert themselves in situations that most people, I mean, let's face it, most people look at an article or look at a tweet or Facebook or Instagram and rarely comment. And then you have some people that will comment on everything, especially people that are very hateful, evil people that are constantly trying to disparage people that they don't know and they never met. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I never believed that. Of course, I've been to the UK and I've been outside of London. I've been to Scotland, uh, Brighton Beach, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham. Let's see where else. York. So I went around and I met people, and I did not feel a great deal of hostility directed toward me. Actually, none at all. I did not have one exchange with anybody that I felt threatened or, I just had that one weird time on the train when they asked for my ticket because I was walking toward the first class. But what are you going to do? But the thing is, I know better, so I don't feel that way. But the problem is these tabloids, the tabloid media, the British tabloid media, to a lot of people, that is the face of Britain. That is the bad thing, is that it's the face of Britain. And it is not a very attractive face. One of the biggest exports that has ever come out of the UK is racism, the transatlantic slave trade, war, empire, and the British tabloid media. The British tabloid media. So awful is it that you have people here in the United States that are in the media that have been fighting, trying to keep the British media out. That's how bad it is that automatically that if you get reporters, if you get an editor from the Fleet Street, that is going to turn a respected newspaper like the Washington Post into a tabloid. And okay, New York Post, who cares about that? There's a lot of papers that people would be willing to sacrifice, but the Boston Herald, I hope that's not gone south. But anyway, all of these um, legacy, historic, 100-plus-year-old city newspapers that they would love to buy so that they can turn them, because they know that there's a lot of people who will believe them, like the New York Times, even though sometimes they can be very conservative and that they can be very shady. By and large, they have more credibility than the New York Post. And so people tend to believe them. And that's why they want to take it away. That's why they want to turn it into a creation of their own. It's diabolical and it reeks of Rupert Murdoch. And that's why people have been pushing back against it. But again, it is the face of Britain. And you would think that some of the people in the government would want to try to stop it, but they don't. They don't. I was listening to Peddle today, and Peddle said that Keir Starmer um, has no intentions whatsoever of having the Levinson too. That's just not in the cards. It's not going to happen. And then she started naming some of the places and situations where Keir Starmer was at a party with Rupert Murdoch, went to a dinner with so and so. Hey, Sean, speaking of unattractive faces, how's Camilla? Hello, Senior Royal here. As beastly as ever, breaking up families up and down the countryside. One after the other. She has ruined one family after the other. But thank you so much for the super chat. So, anyway, that is what Richard Eden is capable of. And we're used to it. He'll just make up stuff because there's no repercussions. She asked them to get rid of the article. They refuse. They are very careful about legal loopholes so they can use massive suffering and damage. So they can cause massive suffering and damage, but it's not technically libelous or defamatory, even though it's intended to foment hate and cause harm. And it seems like the more attractive, the younger and more attractive someone is, the more they're likely to target them. The more they're likely to target them. They just love to tear people down, and particularly attractive women. And most definitely Black women. And attractive Black women, I don't know what the bounty is for that, but that seems to be something that, like Pierce Morgan. Pierce Morgan likes to make everything about himself. And I will never forget when Robert Jobson said that Pierce Morgan has a talent for making everything about him. Everything. Just like Donald Trump is all about him. No discernible talent whatsoever except the knack of inserting himself into things that have nothing to do with him. Okay, this is a redo. Okay. And so there you go. Richard Eden by day and Maureen by night, as it has been alleged that Richard Eden is yet another person who has been caught out for using their burner account. You forget to change the account and make a comment, and the next thing you know, so, and there's sometimes I don't know which one I'm looking at. Is it Maureen? Is it Richard? I don't know. They're starting to kind of blend together. So, this is a classic one, but I've shared this with you before. Prince Harry and Meghan's secret meeting with Spider-Man star Tom Holland and Zendaya, as film takes 1.27 at the box office worldwide. Richard Eden says it's unclear why Harry and Meghan were keen to meet Holland and Zendaya, but they have hoped to persuade them. That they may have hoped to persuade them to take part in one of their media projects. Now, you know what? This is something that you could say, talking to a friend if you're just gossiping or whatever, or if you're just making conversation. Harry and Meghan met with Zendaya and Tom Holland. I wonder if they're working on a project. But instead of leaving it at that, he implied that both Harry and Meghan had never met them before. He made it very clear in his article that neither one of them had ever met Zendaya and Holland. But the thing is, there's a picture of Harry, and this picture was what? I want to say it was 2018. Yeah, it says, this is what the squatty wrote. I don't know whether Meghan and Harry met certain actors and celebs in California last year or not, but one thing is for sure is he has met Tom Holland before, and Richard Eden is an obsessed, creepy liar. Holland met royals at Audi Polo Challenge back in June 30th of 2018. Well, June the 30th, Harry and Meghan had been married for a month, little over a month. And this is a polo match, right? So chances are he met Meghan that very same day. I'm just going to assume that not only is he on the stage with Harry, that likely he met Meghan that same day. Is it Buyela Nakumb? Nakub. Thank you so much. Good morning to you too. Thank you so much for being here. So, Richard Eden obviously made that up. It sounds sensible that they would have met for the first time, but they did not. And of course, there's this. To show you his priorities these days, he who was speculating about Kate and Rose fallout, now he says nothing bad about Kate. Kate is trying to raise our future king, so it shouldn't be seen as not working hard, Richard Eden tells Palace Confidential, after she was called a part-time royal by Omid Scobie and carried out just 128 engagements. Omid Scobie didn't lie. She is part-time. She's never worked more than the Queen or Philip before they got, really bad, before Philip stepped down and the Queen got, too ill. She had never worked more than they have. They always use those children as a crutch, as an excuse to not work. And now William has stepped down from the FA. That's one less thing for him to do. He doesn't do anything. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this. Those are two of the laziest people. William and Kate do not care about that work. They're only interested in what they want to do when they want to do it. And for that, William took a salary from the Duchy of Cornwall of about 25 million pounds? He's doing less work and making more money. Charles is doing less and making more. Camilla is actually the only one out of the senior royals who actually is working more. If you can call what they do work. I genuinely worry that Prince Harry and Meghan's criticism of unnamed racist royals has increased the danger of attacks on the royal family. Somebody's kissing up. Security needs to be stepped up as a result. Just a free flowing thought comes across his mind and he tweets about it. It's not enough that you don't say anything critical about them anymore, but you go so far as trying to give them blanketed protection for everything. Everything. And he used to be extremely critical of the royals. Not anymore. We got Harry and Meghan to pick on. I'm so glad Harry did that interview. I am so glad that more people have a chance to see the hypocrisy. It's not enough. There still needs to be more said and more done, but it's a start. Charles, let's see, Prince Charles sold out William and Harry to the tabloids. Prince Charles, who is next in line to be King of England, has been accused of employing a ruthless media operation that was willing to denigrate his children and slander their dead mother in order to improve his personal reputation. Prince William and Prince Harry were sold out to the tabloid press by one of their father's closest aides while they were still kids, according to a BBC documentary broadcast on Thursday. Now, this article from what looks like the Daily Beast, that is from originally published, 2015 and updated in 2017? Interesting, isn't it? It's everything that we already know. The sad thing is, it's everything that we've already know. It has been exposed, but because of how crooked the tabloid media is, they will do or say nothing about it. Nothing. And I get it. I get it. It involves rich people. And there's nothing more entertaining than seeing rich people suffer, right? It's a form of entertainment. It's bread and circus, as they say. And so I can understand why there are so many people in the UK that are just kind of blasé about this stuff because it is an ongoing soap opera, probably the world's longest running soap opera. And the fact that, people have been hurt really bad, the fact that an unborn child has died, somebody's mother died mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris, none of that stuff seems to really resonate with people. They just look away. You got the media terrorizing people, doing everything they can to build someone up as a hero and then sift through their garbage, spy on them, even break into their homes to try to, uh, I guess, demonstrate how they have been hiding this other side of themselves. I really don't want to know. I don't care. But obviously, some people do. Uh, because they buy the papers. Yeah, Kensington Palace did an awful lot of leaking on Harry and Meghan, claims royal commentator. And that, of course, was Robert Jobson. Kensington Palace was involved in an awful lot of leaking about Prince Harry and Meghan, royal commentator Robert Jobson has claimed. But yet Robert Jobson turns around and says nasty little snarky things like, I wonder whatever happened with that bullying investigation. Remember that? Just out of the blue. Just out of the blue, he blurts out whatever happened to the bullying investigation. An investigation that he knows is an absolute farce. Prince Harry's stories came from members of the royal family. Daily Mirror publisher claims in court. Prince Harry himself has previously spoken about leaks from within the firm, commenting in his book Spare that members of the royal family briefed the press. 2015, Prince Charles sold out his young sons to the tabloids. 2021, Kensington Palace, William and Kate did an awful lot of leaking on Harry and Meghan. By the way, this is Muriel who found these clips. And in 2023, Prince Harry's stories came from members of the royal family. Daily Mirror publisher claims in court. And what's going to happen with all this information? Nothing. Nothing. For now, nothing. Charles is too stubborn and too ignorant to apologize to his son. William, well, we all know how he is. It's too bad. And of course, thank you to the couple of people that sent me this from that I was looking for yesterday. Although I did, I didn't actually play it. So,
how would you characterize the threats that Meghan and Harry received?
Well, disgusting and very real. I've talked publicly for many years about the threat of extreme right-wing terrorism in this country. I've often been misquoted as taking my eye off the ball, as though I think that that was the biggest threat. I've never called it the biggest threat, but it was the fastest growing. And my wonderful friend and counterpart at MI5 will tell you exactly the same thing, that when I started in CT in 2015, counterterrorism, it was about 6% of our total workload. Certainly when I left 15, 16 months ago, it was over 20% of our workload.
But there were many serious, credible threats against Meghan, were there, emanating from the far right in this country?
Absolutely. If you'd seen the stuff that was written and you were receiving it, the kind of rhetoric that's online, if you don't know what I know, you would feel under threat all of the time.
So you were convinced that there was a genuine threat to Meghan's life on on more than one occasion, on several occasions?
We had teams investigating it. People have been prosecuted for those threats.
So there you go. That was Neil Basu. He was in charge of counterterrorism. One thing that I know...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I'm sorry, Siri. I wasn't talking to you. Yeah. Okay. So one thing I know for certain, as I have been around this world for quite some time, is that no matter what position it is, President of the United States, Mayor of Chicago, Governor of the state of New York, whatever the role is. Well, Mayor of New York City. I don't think they had a black governor. But yeah, they did have a black governor. No, they didn't. That was New Jersey. Well, anyway, my point is this. When you take a role that has usually been filled by a white person and you put a black person in that role, even Duchess of Sussex, which Meghan is the very first Duchess of Sussex. So let us just say a duchess, a royal duchess in the Windsor household, right? The amount of threats that typically have come across anyone in the family, anyone in the business, anyone in the government, you put a black person in that role, and for some reason, the amount of threats triple, quadruple. You get 100 times the amount of threats. And the other bizarre thing is that they don't even try to hide it. They don't even pretend. They don't do anything to try to conceal their identity, because the likelihood they would ever go to jail is very remote. Although there are some people in jail right now in Britain for threatening Harry, accusing him of being a race traitor, saying that their child should be eliminated, and making threats against Meghan. So we know that threats have been made. And I know it would be very shocking for people to know, but if people ever knew the type of threats that Barack Obama faced, where you would have the President of the United States in his official capacity visit a rural community, and there would be people outside of the Secret Service security perimeter with weapons, just as a reminder that we have our state rights. We got our state rights, that we can do whatever we want to do because we got state rights. But doing that in that situation is an obvious threat to the president. Michelle Obama probably had many sleepless nights because she said that Donald Trump's rhetoric made her family unsafe, made her family very unsafe. And so instead of saying, oh, Harry's body language is because Meghan is in control, she's bullying him. No, Harry's body language is because he's afraid for his wife. He never can relax in public when he's with his wife, always calculating what can go wrong as any soldier would. That's why he looks uncomfortable. That's why he looks grumpy. That's why he looks distracted, because he doesn't want to lose his family. But they won't ever say that. They will attribute it to his relationship and that he is being bullied and pushed around, and he's afraid she's going to walk out on him. Having gone through everything that they've been through together, if she hadn't left by now, she ain't going anywhere. If she hadn't left by now, she ain't going anywhere. But they have to believe the worst, because even though they won't admit the very racist nature that a lot of those people have, including the body language people, all of them, they would rather accuse the black woman of being angry and combative and manipulative, having some type of sorcery or sexual secrets or whatever, those kind of things, because they know that's what other people want to hear. Frogmore Cottage remains empty more than a year after Harry and Meghan were kicked out. Prince Harry and Meghan eviction looks petty as home lies empty. Well, that was in Newsweek, which is usually very hateful against the Sussexes. And even more surprising, Jack Royston wrote it. So Muriel says King Charles doesn't want his son and his grandchildren to have a safe home in the UK. He took Frogmore from them out of pettiness. Prince Harry is right to keep his family away from such a toxic environment. History won't be kind to Charles Windsor. I think he's pretty sure that they're going to do for him what they've done for, say, Philip, or even the Queen, or everybody else that they've tried to paint a positive picture of. But at some point, the facade is going to shatter, and whichever royal rodent, royal reporter is brave enough to tell the truth, that is the one who is going to reap the real benefit. Right now, they're eating well because they are writing books about the royals with their approval. I'm not making that up. That's true. They're writing articles with their approval. They're doing talk shows and documentaries. It's a steady stream of income. And they never had it so good as when Harry and Meghan were married. But since the Sussexes left, they have taken a massive pay cut. Anyway, again, that is the future first gentleman and the future Madam President. That is Doug Emhoff. And of course, that is Kamala Harris. That is Kamala, our heroine, our Captain America. This one is new. We're not going back. We're not going back. And don't you all forget that. Looks like a miraculous healing, doesn't it? Looks like a miracle, doesn't it? You would never know that he had an injury. It looks like, actually, it doesn't look like anything. See there? You see like a little scratch. You can see where the flesh had been irritated, torn perhaps, but certainly not anything like what they say. Now, the FBI director or the Secret Service director believes that it was a bit of shrapnel from the teleprompter, that it was a bit of shrapnel, and that it wasn't actually hit by anything made of lead. Oh, there. I tell you, talk about, his eyes look just like a hog, doesn't he? Look like pig eyes. He really does. You got those pig eyes. Now, there's something about the Republicans, something about the MAGA, the Trump Republicans. Women go in there looking like women, and they come out looking like a really bad waxwork. Now, that is, what's her name? Guilfoyle, whatever. Anyway, that's the one who had that horrible itch while they were at the convention. If you remember that, she had a little bit of an itch. Yuck. Okay. Now that's when she was with Governor Newsom on the left. She used to, wasn't she married to Governor Newsom? When she was a Democrat, she was absolutely beautiful. But now that she's a raging Republican, what have they done to that woman? Does she have any more of her original parts? Does she even remember what color her hair was? That is what happens when you become a Republican. Lunch at Mar-a-Lago. It's like a big silicone party. And this is the newest ones I have. Honestly, I don't know if those are mannequins. I don't know. I cannot be sure what I'm looking at. They all look like Fox News anchors, right? They all look like they work for Fox News. Either that or they just left a hooker convention, but they look like they work for Fox News. Now, I'm going to end with the Olympics. I'm just going to show this a little bit. Now, some people, and this is the first time I've ever seen this happen, they posted this video on Twitter, and the French government had them take it down. The French do not play when it comes to their copyright. This is why you rarely see a video of the Eiffel Tower with that light show, because they will make you take it down. Even if you're on vacation, if you record that light show at the Eiffel Tower, they'll make you take it down. That is considered a copyright. So anyway, they I guess it was the national anthem. The what do you call it? The oh gosh, what do you call it? Anyway, they played that with heavy metal guitars, right? And drums. And this is at that what is the name of that building where she was imprisoned? The Bastille. Um so that is supposed to be a headless I hear you, Gwendolyn Daniels. That is supposed to be a headless Marie Antoinette. Very clever costume. She actually was singing and everything. And from there, you can see that tower. See where the guy is out on the platform. There's one on the drums. There's two on guitars, and all of those windows have Marie Antoinette. Those are all Marie Antoinette wearing red. Very clever, right? I love it. It was very, very well done. And there he is playing the guitar. It was very beautiful. If you get a chance to see it, I'm telling you, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. And then it ended with some pyrotechnics. They had the flames shooting up and everything. Quite inspiring. It was very, very cool. So, anyway, that was all I have for tonight. I thought I would share that with you. Gosh, still an hour and a half. I thought I would be out of here in an hour. Anyway, thank you. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And let's end with Once Upon a Time. Hmm. Okay, I'm running into that same problem again. I don't know what happened. Why I can't make that do what I'm trying to get it to do. Hmm. Okay, well, I guess I won't be able to do that. I don't know what I am doing here. Second time, but something is different. And I don't know what it is. Okay, to hell with it. Anyway, good night, y'all. I don't know. Maybe I'll just play something else. Weird though. I don't know. Just hmm. Well, I got to figure out what I did with this. But anyway, good night, y'all. Happy Saturday to you. And I will see you later today, tomorrow, later today, depending on whatever it is for you. Connie Balmer. I didn't know you were here, Connie Balmer. Anyway, good night, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow.